Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of The Unconventional Outdoorsman. I've got a quick little video for y'all today going over how to understand gear ratio and what gear ratio means. So gear ratio basically is the speed your spool spins to retrieve your line. So like hold up a reel. So you'll be reeling in your line. The gear ratio determines how much line will go on per turn. Now, for example, this reel right here, this is a Bass Pro Shops Crappie Max. This is a 5:1:1, so this is a fairly slow gear ratio. I think this is like a 12-inch per turn. And I've got 4 different reels we're going to go over this today. So this is a 5:1:1, so it's very slow. This is meant for, more slow fishing. Even if you reel it in super fast, it's not going to reel in even close to the amount a bait caster such as this would. So this is a 5:1:1. This is probably on average about what you're going to get for an ultralight reel. Maybe a 5:2:1, a 5:4:1, something like that would be effective. I know I had a bait caster that was 5:3:1. It was pretty good. The only problem is when you're doing certain types of fishing, you need to be able to reel in a little bit faster, especially if it's a heavier bait. I brought this down to Arkansas, which I noticed that this was a little bit more difficult to fish with down there. Because there was so much current, you had to be able to reel in faster, and I didn't want to have to reel in like that, and break my reel. So definitely, I would recommend something a little bit higher than 5:1:1 for most types of fishing. But either way, you should be doing pretty good. All right, this is a 6:2:1. This is a Bass Pro Shops Carbon Light 2.0. This reels in much faster. I think it says how much line is pulling every single time. I think it pulls in almost 20 inches per, because it says here, let's see, on this one, this is a 6:6:1, and it pulls in 27 inches per turn. So, just doing some math, this is roughly 20 inches per turn. This is more of like a good style, a good speed bass reel. You can fish all different types of bait. I've got some 8-pound test on here. That's another thing about reels too. Most spinning reels, it'll say like, the pound test you can have on it, or that's recommended at least. On here, it's recommended for 6-pound, 8-pound, and 10-pound. So nothing too drastic. This is more of a medium style reel, something for like small creeks, small ponds, etc. But this reel's in about 20 inches per crank, so it's gonna be I would say pretty fast gear ratio. Not super fast though, but 6:2:1 is definitely getting up there. Next I have my Abu Garcia Revo X. This has a 6:6:1 gear ratio. And it's got a 27-inch or 68 centimeter retrieval per turn. So that means 68 centimeters of line will come in every single time you do one crank, which is pretty good. If I do say myself, if you're casting all the way across the pond and you're fishing something really heavy, that can really play in your favor. On here I like to carry 10 to 12 pound test, nothing too crazy, but definitely keep it smooth. That's something also that's important with making sure your reel is running effectively. Like I made the video about proper reel maintenance. You want to put some oil or some grease on your reel. The bearings definitely, with bait casters, you definitely want to open it up and get into the bearings and oil them. Then I'm on to my last reel. This is probably the fastest reel I have for bass fishing, or just in general. This is a 7:1:1. It's got 8 bearings. It's a Lew's Laser MG, and so this one was 27 inches per turn. Then I'm assuming this would be almost 33 inches per turn. This is, definitely meant to reel in a lot faster. You can get a lot more line in, bigger baits. That is something about gear ratio too. A lot smaller number gear ratio, like the 5:1:1, maybe the 6:2:1 is meant for smaller baits. Not as only certain types of fishing will be good with that type of reel. This opens up the book to more types of fishing. I could fish even the ocean if I wanted to with this, with some smaller fish like off the bank or whatever, trying to catch some bait fish or whatever. But definitely. I carried 10 to 12 pound test on this at all. Also, it's not that big of a reel. I like pretty small reels, bait casters really that fit in my hand. I don't like the really big ones. It just seems too bulky and doesn't really serve my needs here in Missouri. But that's all I have for y'all today. I'm going to be making some cool videos this week. This was just a last-minute video since I really didn't have anything planned for today, this Sunday. So, thanks for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't, and have a wonderful Sunday.